Hello, everybody. Mr. Tom here, and welcome back to reading. So, last week we actually finished reading Billy Wants It All. We've been reading that for 2, 4, 6. We've been reading that for a whole month. We just finished that. It was 8 chapters long. So, today is the day that we're starting a new book, and it's going to be within the same series of books. So, we're doing Billy Saves the Day this time, and just like the last book, it is 8 chapters long. So for the next 4 weeks, we will be reading this book, and then we'll start another one. So today, I'll be reading chapters 1 and 2. I'll give you my thoughts on the chapters after I'm done reading them. After I'm done reading both of them, I'll do it at the end of the video like I did in the other videos I've recorded. And just like those, the comment section will be open, so you can give your thoughts if you wish. So I'm going to start with chapter 1. End of year production. Not prediction, production. Miss Tompkins, Billy's Year 5 form teacher, passed around a pile of books and play scripts. Please take a copy, quickly and quietly. She watched until each child had one. Now turn to page 2 and read the section headed Director's Overview. Miss Tompkins stared at the class over the top of her glasses. She appeared severe and rather scary. As each kid noticed, they fell silent and read. Nobody liked being called out for talking or not doing their work. Miss, Khaled said. Khaled, how many more times? No shouting out. Put your hand up first, she scowled. Sorry, miss, he pretended to zip his lips before raising his hand. Yes, Khaled, what's your question? Why are we reading this? Khaled waved around his copy of the script. Good question. Can anyone help him? Miss gazed at her class. 3 hands went up, including Tom's. So, Tom, what do you think? For our year-end production, Tom sat back in his chair, folded his arms across his chest, and beamed a smile. Tom shared a table with his 2 best mates, Billy and Ant. We all knew that, Ant spoke around the back of his hand so that the miss would not hear. Miss Tompkins spoke. We have 8 weeks until you finish in year 5 and move into the last year at this school. And by tradition, we will entertain the whole school with a play. This year, we shall perform The Keymaster by Nick Perrin. From reading the overview, you should know that it's about time travel, going back in history to 1066, and other important dates. Miss Tompkins saw a hand go up. Yes, Billy? But miss, it's a musical with singing and stuff. That'll be hard. Billy looked to Ant and Tom for support. They both nodded. Well, Billy, you are near the end of your time in year 5. As are you all, and from my experience, I think you'll do a great job, possibly the best, by a 5-year class. Miss Tompkins stood and walked around to the front of her desk. We need to cast. That means choose who you will play in the play. We also need scenery, paintings, costume sewing, and props making. This production will involve the whole class, and for the main characters, rehearsals will happen late afternoon, once school has finished. A buzz of excitement came from the children, and Khaled burst into song. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. He held the last note for as long as he could. Okay, Khaled, Miss Tompkins clapped her hands. You will have plenty of time for that. For the rest of this lesson and homework, I would like you to read the whole script and decide who you would like to be. If several people want to be the same part, like Keymaster or one of the other 4 leading roles, we will need to hold auditions, or I will have to choose. Billy, Ant, and Tom rode their bikes home after school, chatting the whole time about the end-of-year play. Yeah, but I'm the creative one, Ant boasted. Miss always says so. Remember how I won the prize for the advert project at the end of the last term? Ant pushed out his chest. It should be me who plays the Keymaster. He looked to Billy and Tom, expecting to see them agree. But the Keymaster is meant to be a teacher who turns into a time traveler, Tom said. He sat upright on his bike to show how grown-up he was. Speaking in his best gruff dad voice, So, I should play that part. I'm the tallest and look more like a grown-up." "Maybe," Billy said. "But Khaled has a good singing voice. You heard him in class doing his do, re, mi, fa thing." True, but when Khaled speaks, he looks down a lot, and Miss won't like that," Aunt said. "When you're on stage, you have to look out at the audience and speak slowly and clearly." Aunt spoke slowly and clearly to emphasize what he meant. The three boys stopped at a road crossing. The red man showed. Aunt pressed the button. "You need to get off and push your bike," Aunt called. He could see two mums with push chairs waiting to cross from the other side. The red man changed to green, and the familiar beep, beep, beep sound signaled it was safe to go. "Come on, you two," Aunt set off toward the far side. Only after he had crossed did he notice that Billy and Tom hadn't followed him. "Hey, you two, get a move on," Aunt called back to them. For Aunt and Billy, it provided too late. The green man had changed back to red and the traffic started moving. Aunt watched and tried to speak to them, but the car noises made it impossible. "So what do you think, Billy?" asked Tom. "Should the Keymaster be Aunt or Khaled?" "I've not heard Aunt sing. I don't know if he can." Tom still thought he should get cast as Keymaster. "Aunt is good at telling jokes," Tom said. He didn't want to say anything bad about Aunt, since they were mates, but neither did he want to help him get the part. The beep, beep, beep sound of the crossing made Billy and Tom look up. They saw Aunt across the road, waving his arm like a windmill in a storm. "Yeah, we're coming," Billy called to him. He turned to Tom and said, "Say nothing to Aunt. I want to read the play again to decide what I'll do, but I know I'm all right with a hammer, nails, and a paintbrush. Maybe I'll just build scenery." "What? Build scenery? You should go on stage, get a speaking part," Billy interrupted Tom. Singing, don't you mean?" "Okay, a singing part, but whatever. You should act. Miss will expect you to." Tom patted Billy on the back. "You wait." "Yeah, but I'll be no good." Billy slumped his shoulders and looked at the ground as he spoke. He didn't want Aunt or Tom to see his face. He felt awkward. He swallowed up by embarrassment. Because he'd looked down, Billy missed the surprised expression on Tom's face. "You're nuts, Billy Field. You're one of the best in class." Billy didn't share Tom's confidence in himself. "Yeah, but what do you know?" he thought. As usual, Billy and Aunt cycled the rest of the way home together. They arrived outside Aunt's home. Although Billy lived 2 streets away from Aunt, after school, Billy went to his granddad's to wait for his mom to get home from work. His granddad lived just 2 houses away from Aunt. "See ya, mate." Aunt waved goodbye to Billy and then disappeared into his garden. Aunt had spotted his mom and youngster sister, Max, at the rabbit hutch. Max, still grounded, had to do extra jobs after her bike painting episode of a couple weeks ago, when she'd managed to cover herself and all around the house in green gloss paint. "Hi, Mom. Hi, Sis." Aunt parked his bike against the house wall. He dropped his school bag, his high-vis jacket, and cycle helmet, and then sprinted over to see Cinders, their pet rabbit. "Careful with her. Hold her under the back legs, otherwise she'll kick," Aunt's mom said. "Hello, Cinders." Aunt stroked the robot's long gray flecked ears. He watched as she twitched her nose. "What can you smell?" He put his finger near her face. She sniffed them before trying to nibble on one. "Hey, no, they're not carrots, they're my fingers." Aunt snatched his hand away. Her teeth looked sharp, and he didn't want her to bite him. Max opened the door to the rabbit run. "Here, Aunt, put her back." She has clean water, fresh straw for her bed, and a bunch of lettuce leaves. "How is school?" his mom asked Aunt the usual question. "Fine, I suppose," Aunt gave his usual answer. "Just fine?" His mom had hoped for more. "We're doing an end-of-year play. Something about time travel? I've got to read the script to decide who to be." "I'm sure you can play whoever you want, my little actor." His mom leaned over to give him a hug and then kissed the top of his head. "But we have to sing. It's a musical." Aunt looked up at her before wiggling free. Sing? I've never heard you sing except for Ba Ba Black Sheep or Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and that was years ago. Knowing you, I'm sure you'll manage to do it. My aunt can do anything. His mom hugged him a second time. And that's the end of the first chapter. Okay. I'll give you my thoughts on that. I almost just shared it now. I'll read chapter 2 now, and then we'll talk. So chapter 2 is What Will Granddad Think? Getting right back into it. After leaving Aunt, Billy arrived at the back door to his granddad's house. He could see his dog, Jacko, and his granddad through the window. He walked straight in. Hi, Granddad. Hi, Jacko. Billy's dog woofed and ran to greet him. Oh, Billy, you made me jump. I didn't hear you. Granddad patted his chest to relieve his surprise. Are you wearing your hearing aid, Granddad? Billy shouted. Granddad put his head to his ear to check. Yes, but it's switched off. I don't bother when I'm by myself. He fiddled for a moment. Say something. Granddad looked to Billy. Have you any biscuits in your tin? Billy held a cheeky grin. I heard that. You are a shocker, young Billy. Granddad reached up to the shelf where he kept the tall round tin with its airtight top, decorated with pictures of different biscuits, including Billy's favorite custard cream. Here you are. Only one. Mind, or your mother will be after me. Thanks, Granddad. Billy took a custard cream after separating the biscuit in two halves. He set about licking the yellow custard, flavored filling off. Do you want a cup of tea with that? His granddad asked. Yes, please. Billy resumed licking the biscuit. Jacko pushed his nose toward his hand, hoping to get some. No, mate, it's not for you. He ruffled the dog's fur. Billy reached into his school bag, took out a book, and placed it on the kitchen table. Careful not to spill the tea on your schoolwork, Granddad warned. It's not really a school book. Miss gave us a script for a year-end play. Billy turned over the page. Have you got a part? Granddad asked. That's what I've got to do tonight. Read the script and decide if I want a part. So what's the play about? Granddad took his biscuit and dunked it in his tea. Time travel. It's about a teacher who turns into a time traveler and visits famous dates in history like 1066. Billy watched his granddad. Quick, Granddad, your biscuit will go all soggy. Oh, blow, I forgot. He lifted the biscuit up just in time to see most of it fall back into the cup with a plop. Bother. It tastes disgusting like that. Granddad got a spoon and fished around in his tea. The play would be fun, but it's a musical, with singing and everything. Billy looked glum as he spoke. And it lasts for an hour. That's a lot of words and songs to learn. Not like our advert project that we did last term, which lasted a minute. Granddad scooped out a teaspoonful of brown gunk from his tea and placed it in his saucer. Here, Jacko, he called. No, Granddad. Jacko will get fat if you keep feeding him biscuits. Billy stroked the top of his dog's head. Sorry, mate. I know you like biscuits, but it's for your own good. Billy thought he saw Jacko smile. He always loved attention, even though he didn't get the soggy biscuit. His long tail wagged freely. You will get your proper food when we get home. Not long now. Billy turned back to reading the script. The play has 5 big parts. Aunt wants to play the Keymaster. He's the main character. What about you? What part do you want to play? Granddad peered over his shoulder to see the script. It says here that the main characters are the Keymaster, Samantha, Ben, CJ, and Max. As I said, Aunt wants to be Keymaster. Samantha's a girl, and I'm definitely not dressing up as a girl. Ben is cheeky. CJ stands for Carol Jo, another girl. And Max is a boy in the play, not like Maxine, Aunt's sister. In this, Max is sensible and interesting. Billy twisted around to look at his granddad. Sensible and interesting hardly sounds like you, Granddad shook Billy by the shoulder. Only joking, lad. Billy turned a few more pages, reading each of the parts. He shook his head while he studied the book. Look, Granddad, Billy pointed at a page. They all have loads to say and sing. He counted the words of particularly long speech by a particularly long speech by the Keymaster. How will I ever remember? I think I'll just have to make scenery. He slammed the book shut and flopped back in his seat. Jacko came and stood next to him, resting his head in Billy's lap. It's all about practice, rehearsals, Granddad said, hoping to reassure him. But I can't do this. Billy slumped down off his chair and onto the floor to hug Jacko. He buried his face in the dog's fur, not wanting his granddad to look at him. Of course you can. Remember how you behaved nastily to Ant when he won the school prize? And then you realized how you and he are different and good at different things. So doing that, you know you're good at it, makes you feel confident. Granddad flickered through the script, looking for the page that Billy had sat reading. He read the long speech to himself. Yeah, I'm not sure I can remember that, but I'm 75 years old. He kept the thought to himself instead. He kept the thought to himself. Instead, he said to Billy, as I mentioned, it's all about practice, and with your young mind, it shouldn't be a problem. I'll tell you what, we can do it together, after school, while you wait for your mom. Yeah, but what if I forget my words in front of the whole school and the parents? I'll look like an idiot. Granddad's telephone rang. That will be your mom, I bet. Hello? 824-175. He listened before nodding to Billy. Billy collected up his jacket, helmet, and school bag, along with Jacko's leading collar. Complete with dog, he pulled open the back door. Thanks, Granddad. See you tomorrow, he said, closing the door as he left. His mom met Billy at the door to their house. Why the long face? School? Why the long face? School, he muttered as he walked in. But you like school, she protested. What happened today? Oh, nothing, Mom. Billy removed Jacko's lead before heading for the sitting room. His mom heard the television. I need your help getting the tea ready, she called after him. Billy chose not to hear. She waited for him to reply. Did you hear me, Billy? She walked as she spoke. By the time she had finished her sentence, Billy's mom had reached the sitting room. What about your homework? Billy didn't look up. He sat too busy watching the latest Spider-Man DVD, for the 5th time at least. Come on, Billy, you've seen that loads of times. I need some potatoes and carrots peeling. His mom sounded insistent. What are we having? Billy didn't move his eyes off the TV screen. Nothing unless you come and help. His mom bent, picked up the remote control and hit the off button. Mom, I was watching that. Come on, Billy, tell me what's wrong. Billy stood and followed his mom to the kitchen. He shuffled along behind her like an old man rather than a 10-year-old boy. It's Miss Tompkins, he said. What? You're not in trouble again. His mom sure hoped not. No, nothing like that. Miss wants to do a year-end play about time travel, and we have to choose the part we want to play. That's great. So why the long face? She stared. Because it's a musical with loads of words and singing, and I know I can't do either. Billy pushed out his bottom lip. It trembled. And that's the end of chapter 2. So, okay. I mean, the last book we read, we never really saw Billy fearful. So this is, sure this is new to me and also you. Also, I'd like to mention again that this book is, it's not made here in America. It has a lot of different wording that a lot of people like us wouldn't really notice. So I tried changing a lot of the wording to make more sense with how we speak, and that's why I trip up sometimes. So I apologize, because a lot of this I have to pull out of nowhere and fix words so you could understand it, like sort of more of our lingo. But I like these books. They're really good. So I guess now this book is going to be about not just, like the last one we read with Billy making money to get the skateboard. This is going to be about Billy overcoming his fear to do this end-of-year play, I guess. And it seems like he's pretty darn scared with these first 2 chapters with what they're showing. So I think it was good. I guess we'll have to see where it takes us now. The 3rd chapter is Who Will Be Keymaster, which we'll be reading next week. And the next chapter is Rehearsals. So we're going to get we're going to get straight into it. So, next week we'll read those 2 chapters. I hope you look forward to what will happen then. We'll see how this story goes, and I hope everyone's doing well. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next week, so enjoy the rest of your day.